Narada is here giving us, this is the marketing tactics in modern terms, what we say. Why do you follow the path of bhakti? Well, Narada points out that bhakti is easier to follow. When you compare to all the four paths, we have four important paths. The path to God has been divided into four paths. One is jnana, another is karma yoga, and another is raja yoga. Then the other one is bhakti yoga. Now these four paths, they are not perfect compartment, of course. Whatever is predominant, that's what we call is the path. And when you compare this bhakti to other paths, so bhakti is easily attainable and to follow also is easy. So that is why Narada says that even in that condition also, even when we consider this aspect also, one must follow the path of bhakti, one must develop devotion to God. Anyasmat saulabhyam bhaktau. Through bhakti, God is more easily attained than others. So that easily, God is attained easily than other paths. So now, we know that what is this bhakti yoga? Yoga means union with God. So through jnana, it can be done, union with God. Through karma yoga, also we can become one with God, attain God. The same way through raja yoga, also we can attain God. And through bhakti yoga also we can attain God. Union of God, union with God, that can be attained. But then the speciality of bhakti yoga is that something that is natural in all human beings, that factor that is channelized towards God. This love, emotion called love, that is natural to all human beings. Everyone has got that, the bhakti or the love. Everyone has got that love in their heart. Now, this is the positive factor in each and every one of us, this emotion. Usually what happens, this emotion called love, we put on something which keeps on changing. Whether it may be love of the property, or the name and fame, or even the position, or even the relatives, all of them, they keep on changing. So a devotee understands that, if you keep your love on something which keeps on changing, naturally your mind also always will be oscillating. Because when the mind keeps on changing, then it cannot be at peace. It should depend upon something which is permanent, which does not change. And which is the one which does not change? God. God alone is the thing in this world, in this universe, who does not change. So that is why it is called as the Purana Purusha. Purana Purusha, ancient one, most ancient. From time immemorial, God is ever fresh, even now also. Pura api nava Purana. Though he is so ancient, but still he is very fresh. He does not change, he does not become old. That is the speciality of God. So, ever attractive. That is why that emotion called love, when it is channelized towards God, then it finds its fulfillment. The emotion finds its fulfillment, emotion called love finds its fulfillment when it is channelized towards God, and that is called bhakti. That is bhakti. That means something that is in us, we are catching hold of that, and by following that, and ultimately we reach God. So now that is what is bhakti. So Prahlada talks about this in Bhagavata. Ya Preetira Vivekananda Vishayeshvanapayini Tvam Anusmaratha Same Hridayanna Apasarpatu. Now here Prahlada points out Ya Preeti Avivekananda Vishayeshu. So love, that avivekanam, people who do not have proper understanding, who lack that understanding, viveka, vivechana. Aviveka, viveka is vivechana, and aviveka means lack of that vivechana, understanding, lack of proper understanding. So the people with lack of understanding, people who do not understand things properly, they keep their mind in vishaya, that means things of the world, something or the other. So now the same, what you call the love, may I have towards you, O God. So that's what, that means my heart, the love in my heart, may that constantly flow towards you without stopping, continuously. And that's what's called bhakti. So, in the Narada Bhakti Sutras, in the beginning itself, we have seen definition of bhakti. Sadhu asmin parama prema rupa. Asmin means in God. Sa means the bhakti. Parama prema. This love, where it's intensified, supreme one. Why supreme one? It has to be purified first. This love has to be purified. Purifying means what? Usually, when we have love for someone, we have an ego. So anything that benefits us, we start liking that. If it does not benefit us, if it's not useful to us, we do not have any love for that. So this I becomes very important there. This selfishness, that has to be removed. Then it is purified. Why then we love God? Because we want to love God, that's all. He is an object, and not only that, a real devotee's heart constantly flows towards God. He is attracted towards God continuously. So that is the real love, that is the prema, parama prema. Now that is the highest goal. So then where we start? In the beginning, God may be loved for the sake of some benefit. Artha, Jijnasu, Arthati. So all these people, they love God for some particular means. Arthati, the one who wants to get a position or power, or even the wealth or whatever it is. So he is Arthati. He also prays to God. He is also categorized as a devotee. So there it starts. So but ultimately, we have to move forward. We have to step forward. We should not remain. Swami Vivekananda says that, we should, we can get into the kindergarten, but we should not remain there. From there we have to move forward. So now, most of the people he points out, when it comes to religious life or the spiritual life, they remain in the kindergarten. They never move forward. Whatever little thing that has been told by the Guru, we keep on doing that years together and never going to a step forward. Of course, that is better than not doing anything. But then we should know that we must move forward. So from this artha, one must go to jijnasu or artha. So that is how. Then only we can go to parabhakti. Then the real devotion is attained. So that's how we must move forward from there. So that is why this devotion is required. Then what is sulabhatva? Now, to develop devotion to God, what is your background? That God never asks. When you try to follow the other paths, it may be Karma Yoga, it may be Jnana Yoga, it may be Raja Yoga, you are asked for some qualification. Some qualification is required. But in Bhakti it is not asked. That is why Sri Krishna points out in Bhagavad Gita, Mami Partha Vyapashritya Episyo Papayonaya Striyo Vaishya Tatha Shudra Deviyanti Paramratim. Mami Partha Vyapashritya Ashritya, taking shelter at my feet. Even the people whose life is despised at the Janma, Papayonaya, such people. And in the same way, the Striyo, women, Vaishyaha, so the Vaishyas, in the same way, Shudraha, Deviyanti Paramratim. That means nobody is left out. It's not that you should be born in a Brahmana family or a Kshatriya family or a rich family or a poor family or a scholar's family. Nothing of that sort. Everyone is eligible to follow the path of bhakti. So, you are not asked what is your qualification to follow the path of bhakti. The only qualification that we must develop love for God, that's all. That is the only qualification. Do we feel attracted towards God? That is the only qualification. That sincerity, that love of God, that is sufficient. And anyone, even book learning, that also is not necessary. Even studying so many books and other things, that are not necessary. A devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, one day when talking to Sri Ramakrishna, he points out, this what we call, when we follow the path of spirituality, there are so many books to be studied. Then Sri Ramakrishna points out, what do you gain from studying the books? And what is the use of books? Sri Ramakrishna points out, you see, book of God, limited application. Why that? He gives the example, from a village, they sent for some items to be brought. A list of items to the city home, the town home. People used to have the home. Now also people have village, they will have their establishment, and in the city they will have a home there. So this was sent, a slip was sent. And in that, 4 or 5 items that were there. And a man who received that letter, he lost that letter. Now he went on searching, where is that list, where is that list? And went on searching and searching. After 3-4 days, he got that letter. Then he read out. So 5 kg sugar, then 2 cloths, there are so many 4 or 5 items. Once he came to that, what are the things to be sent, Sri Ramakrishna points out, do you think that he keeps on reading that list again and again, again and again? So now, that is thrown out. And what he does, he has to go to the market, buy those things and make arrangement to send them to the village. In the same way, then we come to know that devotion is very important. And when we know that there is a path, very company of the whole year, whatever it is, then afterwards, Shastras do not have any meaning. They only tell us how to go towards God. They only tell us, once we know that path, then what is to be done? We have to follow that path. We have to follow the path. Just go on reading the Shastras is not going to help. So that is why we find that even scholarship also is not necessary to become a devotee of God. So that is why each and every one of us can and go follow the path of God. And not only that, Sri Krishna goes still further. Api te sudunacharo bhajate mam ananya bhav sadhureva samantavya samyak vyavasto hi saha. God will not ask even for character certificates. When it comes to devotion, God will not ask us for a character certificate. Api chetsu dunacharo. Dunachara means one who does not have proper behavior, one with improper behavior. Such a person, what we society calls as a bad person, a person of bad character. And even if he, bhajate mam ananya bhav, if he starts saying to me ananya, ananya means God alone is my support, and I want God and God alone. With this, when he starts saying to God, then sadhureva samantavyaha. You must know that though you may see different kinds of behavior in him, but still he is a sadhu. Why? Samyak vyavasto isa. He has taken the right decision and he has started his journey in the right direction. Samyak vyavasto isa. So he has decided properly, he has taken a proper path. And Kshipram bhavati dharmatma. So once he has taken that decision, then he is going to become dharmatma. It's only a question of time. Swami Vivekananda points out that never look down upon anybody. A person represents a character. Character is bundle of habits. When you replace those negative habits with a positive one, character is reformed and personality also is reformed. So this is why everyone has got it. And here we find that this devotee has taken the right decision, he has taken the right decision. Then what Krishna says? Kshipram bhavat dharmatma. He will become dharmatma. From duratma he becomes a dharmatma very quickly. Kshipram. Because he has taken proper decision and he has started following a proper path. So this is how, everyone, even a man with a bad character is also eligible to follow the path of bhakti. That is why no prerequisite is required when it comes to the follow the path of bhakti. That is why Saulabhya, easily followed. It's easy to follow the path of bhakti. So when we see the qualification that is required to follow other paths, other three paths, major paths to follow God, union with God, are Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Raja Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. So other three paths. So what other things are required? There are prerequisites to follow that path. So what Raja Yoga says, you have to first follow Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara. Then comes Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. So now Yama, Niyama, self-control and other things, Shaucha, Santosha, Swadhyaya. And if you want to follow this Yama and Niyama, you need a regulated life. You cannot lead a life as you like it. So regular practice of meditation and in the same way, study of the scriptures, proper understanding, there are so many things that have to be followed. Yama, Niyama. In the same way, you must develop the habit of sitting in one posture for a long time, asana. The same way, practice of pranayama. Unless the life is properly regulated, practicing pranayama does harm to a man than help him. So that is why one must be very careful about that. So all these things require certain prerequisites when it comes to follow the path of Raja Yoga. So when we come to the Karma Yoga requires one to work hard. That means physical fitness. That's very important. Physically, if we are weak, that such people are not eligible to the Karma Yoga. So that is why they require fitness of the body. Then in the same way, there are many of these Karma Yoga which require wealth. And at the same way, a proper method, understanding of the path of karma properly, because Karma Yoga, there are two types. One is in the olden days they used to follow the Karma Yoga, which was called the Yajna, Yaga, etc. Performance of Yajna, Yaga and all, which required a lot of wealth. A common man could not follow that path. Then, when it comes to Nishkama Karma Yoga, as has been told in the Bhagavad Gita, even to that also, proper understanding of the workings of the mind, how the mind works, the psychology, so all we must understand. Otherwise, somewhere that ego comes, I am doing this, and once it comes that ego comes, I am doing this, I have done so much, I have done this much, then all our effort will go in waste. So Karma Yoga says you must become completely selfless, Nishkama Karma Yoga. So there also again prerequisite. When you have all these things, then you are fit to become a Karma Yoga. And when it comes to Jnana Yoga also lays down, Jnana also lays down certain prerequisites. That's called the Sadhana Chatushtaya. So what is the Sadhana Chatushtaya? First is Viveka, Nitya Vastu Viveka. A Jnani, person who is following the path of Jnana must know what is real and what is unreal. What is changing, what is not changing. What is good and what is bad. You must have a clear understanding of this. Viveka. And Aviveka, then such people are not eligible for that. So that is why this Nitya Vastu Viveka. What is permanent, what is impermanent. Ultimately they arrive at a point where they ultimately understand that it's God and God alone who is permanent. And rest of the things keep on changing. This understanding, this Viveka must be there. Then, Ihamutra Falabhoga Viraga. One must develop Vairagya, this passion towards the things worldly. How? By looking at the dosha, defects in them. None of them are permanent. And not only that, whatever the happiness that we get in this world, anything, it's only short-lived, dosha darshana. And not only that, things will not remain in the same shape forever. That also keeps on changing. We lose interest. These are all the dosha. So that's why iha amuktra phalabhoga vidaga. Then it says that shamadamadi shat sampatti, control of the external organs, senses and internal senses. Now these things are required. Then comes mumukshutva. Mumukshutva means I want to become free from this cycle of birth and death. This is called mumukshutva. Constantly coming to this world, enjoying certain things and suffering so much, again taking birth again. This cycle is going on. So a jnana yogi, person who is following the path of jnana, must have dispassion toward this world and must decide, I must become free from this cycle. Otherwise, how many times I have to go on taking birth? No, I do not want this. This mumukshutva, that is also an essential thing for the path of jnana yoga. Now, this is the prerequisite. This is the qualification that is required for the path of jnana. See, all these three yogas, they lay down some or the other prerequisites. Whereas when it comes to bhakti, they do not, bhakti yoga does not ask anything. So, it does not ask from which family you come from, whether you are high born or low born, none of them are asked. In the same way, the person is not asked about the educational background, qualification, how many books you have read, have you proper understanding of this, have you proper understanding of that. That also is not asked. In the same way, samskar, apichet sudurachara, just now we saw, Sri Krishna himself says, even people with, what we call improper behavior, bad character, once they decided, I love God and I follow the path of God, they are also eligible. When they develop devotion, they are also eligible for the path of devotion. In the same way, how much tapasya you did, that also is not asked. And not only that, this bhakti yoga can be followed in any place. Wherever you are, all over the world, but you are eligible to follow the path of devotion. It does not ask, this kind of ideal place is required. When you want to follow the path of jnana, you require a calm and quiet place. Yoga also in the same way, you require a calm and quiet place. Otherwise, the mind gets disturbed, which is very important to keep the balance of the mind. So, whereas when it comes to bhakti, what kind of place we live in, that also does not become important. And then, the same way, the time. Bhakti does not say every day you must get up at 5 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning. It does not ask us. When you develop devotion to God, then you can pray to God anytime. That is convenient to you. You can call on God at any time. That is convenient to you. No stipulation. If at all stipulation is there, it's only for the sake of sadhana to make it a habit for our mind. Remember, because mind should develop that habit. So that is why desha, kala, and all these things are not asked. See how easily available. This is what Narada points out. Anyasma saulabhyam bhaktau. Bhakta has got so many, what you call that, path, which is very easy. For him, all these things are easy. We find, again, what kind of material you offer. That also is not asked. God never asks us, what you are going to give me. That also is not asked. Whatever we offer, God is pleased by that. Patram pushpam phalam toyam, Bhagavad Gita we study. Patram pushpam phalam toyam, yome bhaktya prayachati. Tadaham bhaktya uparatam, ashnam prayatatmanah. So whatever a devotee offers me, it may be a tulasi dala or a bilvapatra or whatever it is, patram, pushpam, flower, maybe one flower, and phalam, fruits, toya, even water. If none of them are available, even water. Yome bhaktya prayachati, which is offered with love, with devotion, bhakti. That is the ingredient that is required. What material use is immaterial. What is important? The important ingredient must be there. What is it? Love of God. Do we have devotion to God? The Karnappa was a devotee. He was a hunter. And every day he used to come and offer, that whatever animal he hunted, he used to come and offer to Shiva. Usually, according to all this thing, it should not be offered to Shiva. But then he did. And that's what he was getting. And that's what he was eating. He offered that. So anything. But what is important is that it must be offered with devotion. With devotion. Yo me bhaktya prayachati. And if it is offered with devotion, with that love, God is mine, and may He be pleased. Priyatam, Hrudayi Kaksha, with that idea, may it please Him. So with that idea when it is offered, then what he says, Krishna says, Tadaham bhaktya paratam. The one which has been given to me with devotion, Ashnami Prayatatmana. So I accept it. It's a promise from God. He has given in Bhagavad Gita this promise that whatever it is, when it is given with devotion, I accept it. It's an important factor that we have to remember. That means making a big this thing, show off or devotion, etc. That's also not necessary. Spending so much of money, even that also is not necessary. Those who have, let them spend. And those who do not have, they do not have it. You say, devotee called Basavana. He used to say, that he used to say that Ullavaru Shivalaya Maduvarage. Nalena Madali Padavanaya. Basavana. He says, the people who have money, they construct Shivalaya. But what to do? I don't have money. I don't have money. I am a poor person. Then, Yanna Kale Kappa Dehave Degula. My feet are the pillars. They are the pillar. Dehave Degula. My body itself is the temple. Shirave Vanna Kalashavaya. He says, my head itself is the Kalasha. My head itself is the Vanna Kalasha, golden Kalasha. So accept this and please come and dwell in my heart. Please come and dwell here. See, this is what is devotion. Where the material is immaterial. What is important is the devotion. How the devotee looks at God. In what sense he thinks of God. So does he think that God belongs to him? That's very important. He is mine. God is mine. That idea, that is very important for a devotee. When he has that devotion, when he has this love, then anything that is offered, that is accepted by God. But if a person does not have that devotion, then whatever may be the arrangement, God comes and looks and ultimately goes somewhere else. And we have there, Mahabharata. So, Shri Krishna goes to Duryodhana for Sandhi. And Duryodhana offers so many things. Beautiful visiting palace and everything. But ultimately, where he goes, Krishna goes to the house of Vidura, where there is love. Where there is love, no facility. Whatever little things are there, he was offering. But then he went there, Krishna there. Why? Because there was love. It is not that wealth and this thing, that thing, facility, that matters. And Vidura knew that Krishna was his great devotee of Sri Krishna. And then God simply went there, that's all. Duryodhana wanted to show his wealth and everything. All the arrangements were made. But then simply he went to Vidura. Why? He was looking at the heart of Vidura. And that's where God is. God resides in the heart of the devotee. So that is why a devotee ultimately, as Basavana says, what is there to offer? My whole body. Think that this itself is the temple. Please come and dwell. Because I cannot construct a temple for you. I don't have that much of money. So please think that this whole body is a temple and come and reside in my heart. So this is the devotion of a devotee. And we find in Bhagavata also, same, what you call a shloka comes tulasi dalamatrena jalasya chulukena cha vikrinite sumatmanam bhaktebhyo bhaktavatsala. God is Bhaktavatsala. He is loved by the devotees. Bhakta Vashavati. He becomes captive by devotion. So that's what is God. So what he does? Tulasi dalamatrena. Tulasi leaf, if you offer, then that also is sufficient. If that is not available, jalasya chulukena, a drop of water. Then when it is offered with devotion, what he does? God vikrinite sumatmanam. God sells himself to the devotee. God sells himself to the devotion. Remember here what the word is used, vikrinite, selling himself to the devotee. It means he becomes, one with the devotee. Whatever the devotee says, he is ready to do. Whatever the devotee says, he is ready to do God. So why? This devotion. So he is caught by the devotion of the devotees. That's what the Bhagavata points out. Bhakti, when there is offered by a devotee. Devotee who understands, who has got the firm faith, God is mine. And I have only God to fall back upon. When he has this understanding, when he has this firm conviction, when he has this devotion, when he loves God, whatever he offers, for that even God is ready to sell himself for that. So whatever that is offered, the devotion. So that is why what it shows, bhakti, path of bhakti is easily followed. It's not very difficult to follow the path of bhakti. Again, we see that Prahlada, great devotee of God, he was the son of a Rakshasa, we know that. That was his kula. So Prahlada, when he was talking to those his friends, and who are his friends? All of them were the sons of those Daityas, those Rakshasas. Now they were his friends, and then he was talking to them. So he points out that he was talking to them about devotion to God. Nalam, Vijatvam, Devatvam, Rishitvam, Vasuratmaja, Prinanaya Mukundasya, Navrittam, Na Bhavutnyata. So you don't require Vijatvam, taking birth in a Brahmin's or a very highly cultured family. Brahmin is highly cultured. You don't have to take birth in a highly cultured family, not necessary. If you want devotion, that is not the prerequisite. Then, Devatvam, you do not have to become even gods also. To please God, you do not have to become even gods also. Then, Rishitvam, after doing so much of tapasya and everything, you do not have to become a rishi. If you want to please God, well, that also is not necessary. Then, Prinanaya Mukundasya. So if you want to please Mukunda, na vrittam, na bhavujyata. Even character also does not matter. Na vrittam. Apichet suduracharo bhajate mam ananyava. Those who devote themselves to God, ananya. Their background is not asked because Chipram Bhavati Dharmatma. He has taken a right decision. That's what Krishna says, and quickly he will become a Dharmatma. The Duratma becomes a Dharmatma. Once he decides, I must love God and I must follow the path of God, then he becomes a Dharmatma. So that also, Navrittam, even that also is not asked. Then, Na Bahutnyata. How many scriptures you have followed? Have you studied Bhagavad Gita? Have you studied Upanishad? Have you studied Brahma Sutra? This also is not asked. For what? Prinanaya Mukundasya. To please God. To please God, these things are not necessary. That means it's very easy. That's what Prahlada tells to those Daitya-putras. Then, Nadanam, Nataponejya, Nashaucham, Natanicha, Priyate, Amalaya Bhaktya, Hariranyat Vidambanam. How he is pleased? These are all not necessary. Then, what is required? What is required is that, even this also, Nadana. You do not have to do so much of big dana and other things also. That also is not necessary. Then, Natapo. Even tapas also, thousands of years doing tapasya, standing on one leg, and all those things are not necessary. Then, no age or performing the yajnas, yagas, that also is not necessary. Then, shaucham ratanicha, following the vrata, then shauchakriya, all those things are not necessary. Then, what is required? Priyate amalaya bhaktya. God is pleased by pure devotion, amalaya, without any kind of mala, dirt, that means the purity of heart. That's what's required. When we have that devotion, God is pleased. And that is what is required. Wow, what God sees? Your heart. Not anything else. Is it pure? Is there pure love for God? And without expecting anything, without keeping anything, do you have are you going to establish God and God alone there? Then He will come. Not only that, He becomes captive there. He becomes captive there. Which means the Vashavati. So that is the nature of God, and that is why to please God, you do not have to do all these things. What you require is that only that devotion. That devotion. With that, whatever you give, He accepts. Even if you don't give also, it does not matter. All on you. So that's what the Sri Ramakrishna used to say. Those who have money, let them do dana and everything. Then those who do not have, let them do namasmaran. Let them call on God. No, that's what path of devotion is so easy. Path of devotion is so easy. Only call on God. So this is what is very important for us to understand. So that is why what we call the path of bhakti is very easy. And here Prahlada makes one more important, this what we call statement. Priyate amalaya bhaktya hari anyat vidambanam. Now if there is no devotion, then this dana is also superficial. It's superficial. Says that it's not devotion. If there is no devotion, that also of no use. Even tapas also. Tapas also. If there is no devotion in that tapas, then tapas is also of no use. In the same way, yajna, that means the yajna, yaga, etc. When it is not done with devotion, if the devotion is not there, then that's also of no use. The same way, vrata. Vrata is done, but there is no devotion. Then vrata also becomes useless. So for all these things to be meaningful, you need devotion. Devotion is a must. Then only they become useful. And if that devotion is not there, then they become useless. Then what is to be done? You do not have to do all these things. Only thing is you have to develop devotion to God. You do this, but if you want to do them, then you have to do them with devotion. With devotion, that's very important. But what ultimately matters is developing the love of God, amalaya, bhaktya, pure love of God. So ultimately what God sees is that it is the heart of the devotee. How pure it is. God also is like a very close friend. Now what happens? Suppose if we come to know that a close friend is going to come to our home. Are we going to spend thousands of rupees? Not that. What we try to do is that whatever the things we have, we try to keep them arranged in a proper way. And if our drying room is full of dirt, etc., we try to clean that. And then ultimately, whatever the things are there, from that, whatever is possible, nice things we prepare and ultimately wait for the closest friend. That's what we do. In the same way, to God also. First of all, purification of heart is very important. If you have so many desires, I want this promotion, I want that much of wealth, I want this, I want to become very popular. When all these things are there, and with that we go to God, of course we make it, but then the real devotion we cannot get. Real devotion we cannot get. God gives whatever we ask Him, He is going to give. And when we ask for God, especially the devotees, even if they ask something which is not good for them, the God is not going to give. That is the speciality of God. You must always understand. If it is good for the devotee, that alone God gives. Whatever is good for the devotee. Even those desires that we ask, if it is good for us, He is going to give to us fully. So that is the nature of God. He gives all these things. But what ultimately He wants is that we must love Him, we must want Him. That's all. That devotion, pure devotion. Without any kind of selfishness, without any kind of other devotion. I want God and God alone. God is my supreme goal. If that devotion is there, I want you, O God. All other things are secondary. If we have that devotion, God becomes very much pleased. And He comes and resides in such heart. In such heart He comes and resides. So, this is what is the speciality of the bhakti, anyasmat saulabhyam. And not only that, the speciality of the bhakti is that, when you go to other paths, say, what you call your jnana yoga, it says vichara, nitya anitya vastu, vichara, that's what you have to do constantly. And that is the only thing that you have to do. Go on doing that through different means. In the same way, when you go to Raja Yoga, so dharana, dhyana, samadhi, practice of that, this is what is prescribed. And that one single thing you have to do. The same way, karma yoga, whatever you do, be nishkam, desireless. Don't expect the fruit of your action, duties. But whereas when you come to the bhakti, there are so many means which we can adopt. That's why Bhagavata, it has been told about 9 types of devotions. How can we can approach God? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanikedanam. These are all the means we can adopt to go to God. There is no monotony in the path of bhakti. Now, we can hear the Kirtana of God or the Harikatha of God, God's Leela, everything we can hear. Shravana, Shravanam, Kirtanam. So we can sing the glories of God. That's another. We can engage ourselves in singing the glories of God. So those who like to hear about God, let them hear. Hear His name and hear His Leelas. Hear about His God's glories. Let them hear. Shravana. In the same way, Kirtana, singing. Those who want to sing the glories of God, let them go on singing the glories of God. Just like Purandara Dasa did, Tyagaraja did. They all attained God through some kirtanas, singing the glories of God. So that's how God is attained. Vishnu Smarana. Well, I cannot sing properly, then what to do? Smarana. Just think of God. Wherever you are, whatever you are doing, I keep on traveling, all right, think of God. Sitting there in the bus or train for a long time, what to do? You do not require any books, listening, nothing or anything. Just sit there, mind must be given to God, Smarana. Simply think of God, Smarana. Then, Smaranam, Padasevanam. So then, worship God. So Seva. You can do different kinds of Seva to God. Maybe in a temple, maybe in your own shrine. That also can be done. In the same way, Archana, Puja. Through Puja also, formal Puja, we can propitiate God. Then, Vandana. We can surrender ourselves to God. Sharanagati. That also is engaged in the Bhakti Yoga. In the same way, Dasyam. Serving God. I am the servant of God. God is my master. I follow His orders. And whatever work I am doing, it is to please Him. He is my master. With that idea, doing all our duties, work, whatever it is, Dasyam. Then Sakyam. You can make God partner. Friendship, So business partner, we can become a business partner. So we can make him our partner. So whatever we are doing, we can report to God. These are the things, these are the profits, these are the losses, and these are the things I have done. We can go on, make him a partner with us. Satyam. Then Atmanivedanam, if nothing else is possible, surrendering or offering ourselves. Whatever we have, whatever we are, we can completely offer ourselves to God. These are all the methods we can adopt to please God. One of them, or two or three of them, or all of them, whatever it is. So if we get bored with this Shravana, we can start doing the Kirtana. And if we get bored with that, Smarana. But somehow we have to keep our mind on God, we have to love Him. That's all what He wants. Whatever the means you adopt, then you can do all your duties with the idea God is my master, I am serving Him. That also can be done. Lasya. Then Sakyam. Think Him as your own friend. Think God as your friend, as your partner. Then do that. And that also can be done. So there are so many ways, and Vandanam. So all these things can be done, and one of them, two of them, whichever, if we feel happy with that, we feel comfortable, we can follow one of them, two of them, or three of them, whatever it is. But ultimately, what is very important? Athakena Pipayena Manakrishne Vishaye Bhagavata Pancha. Narada also tells about that. Whole of him. Somehow keep the mind at the feet of God. Whatever may be the means, you adopt that. Kena Pipayena. Bhakti Yoga gives that tremendous freedom. Adopt whatever means that suits you. After telling all these things, all these methods, ultimately where it comes, suppose none of them suits you, then you adopt your own methods. But what is very important, keep your mind at the feet of God. And we know that when our mind is worrying about something, about the responsibilities, about so many things that are happening, we keep on worrying and it will never be at peace. And the same mind, if we are able to keep at the feet of God, thinking of God, then what happens? We gain peace of mind. That is the first benefit. Whether we become highest devotee or not, but then at least, when we think of God, at that time it gives us peace of mind. That is very important. Mind will be at peace. And not only that, when we think of Him for a longer time, that peace lingers further. That peace lingers further. And not only that, that will ultimately help us to develop that devotion which makes us forget about all worries in this world. When we develop more and more devotion, less and less of worries. So this is what is the benefit of following the path of bhakti. First of all, it is easily available, that is followed. Without much difficulty, we can follow the path of bhakti. We do not have to change profession. We do not have to change the profession. We do not have to change the place. We do not have to change the time. Or whatever it is, time that is available, wherever the place, whatever it is. So we can ultimately develop devotion and follow the path of devotion. So that is what Narada points out. Anyasmat saulabhyam bhaktau. Develop devotion to God because it is easily attainable. Bhakti is easily attainable and there are so many means to attain devotion. All of them are easy, we can follow them. So that is why Anyasmat saulabhyam bhaktau. Bhakti is easily attainable. Om Niranjanam Nityamanantarupam Bhaktanukampadhrita Vigraham Vari Ishavataram Parameshamityam Tam Ramakrishna Shirasaramamam. Now let us proceed to temple for Sandhya.